Hello and welcome back to my craft room. It's time for me to have a go at the Scrawlr challenge for November. Now it's the 12th of December today, but we've all been very late, unusually late, getting our Scrawlr boxes this month, or for last month, largely because of the Royal Mail industrial action that's been going on. So we're all a bit late getting started, and it's probably not that long till we get the December Scrawlr box. So I need to get my arse in gear here and get cracking. So let me show you what I've been thinking about, because this has been I've been buzzing with ideas for this one. So first of all, I'll just quickly show you, in case you haven't seen, what we got in the box for this month. So we got this Frisk Scrawlr book. It's smooth cartridge paper, tiny bit of texture to it, not a lot. I think there are 15 sheets in there. One of the things I love about it is that it's got this really easy peel label, so I can just get rid of that. And in fact, I've only left it on now because I wanted to be able to tell you what it was when I videoed it. So, but that will come off quite soon now. And we also got, it was all, it's kind of I think a lot of us are describing it as a back to basics box, and I love that. I love drawing with graphite. I just love pencil drawing, and this is right up my alley. So we got this Kohinoor graphite stick. I think that was 6B. Yeah, I swatched that one there. We got this Kohinoor versatile clutch pencil, which I couldn't use the other day, but I know how to do it now. I did the other day when I first unboxed it, I just pushed this and the whole lid kind of flew out. So yeah, I worked it out in the end. And I have since found out, because someone has let me know, that you can get different replacement leads for these. You can get a sepia one, a sanguine one, a charcoal. Yeah, brilliant. Yeah, so I think it feels really nice to hold and nice and weighty in your hand, and I think I love the convenience of a mechanical pencil, and it's kind of like a mechanical pencil but more artsy, isn't it? So really happy with that. We've got a couple of pastel pencils, a white and a black, Derwent, and another Derwent, a precision 7mm, I guess this is HB, it doesn't say, mechanical pencil, along with a pastel sharpener, also by Derwent. Little sticker from the featured artist piece. Here's what I call the menu card, the zine, and the featured artwork. The challenge is leading light. Let's read this. Step into the light. This month's box is inspired by our featured artists' emotive and monochromatic artwork. See what mood and movement you can create. Experiment with tonal values by building layers of shading and mark making to capture the delicate balance of light and dark in your creations. Love that challenge. Love it. Lots and lots of scope there. And it is just such a good exercise to practice getting different tonal values and textures and things with these really simple supplies, these basic supplies, you know. And to me, that's what this box is all about. And there are so many, I mean, even with just this one thing, so this graphite stick, we've got 6B, so you can use it like that, you can use it like this, you can cross hatch, you can dot, you can squiggle, you can use, there's an eraser on the end of this one, you can rub it out to remove lines. You can blend it. I'll probably use we didn't get a blending stump this time. I have got some, so I might cheat and just use them, but I've got things like this cotton bud. Another thing you can use, hang on, so you can use one of these kind of things, or if you've just got a bit of, you know, sandpaper handy, you can actually sand away a bit of this graphite powder. Just, you know, you could use a nail file or something, not a nail file, emery board or something, and then so you've just got this kind of graphite powder, and you can just get lovely smooth blended backgrounds and things, shadows and what have you, and then, you know, use the different tools over the top as well to add more layers of texture and tone. It's difficult to show on camera with graphite because it has that sheen to it. I know it's a little bit cheated, but I think almost anybody's got an emery board or something, or a bit of sandpaper from the shed or whatever, so I'm going to keep that by me. And I think almost anybody can get their hands on either a blending stump or a cotton bud or whatever, so I don't think that's really cheating either. And I probably will use a different eraser, not just this one. I've got a mechanical eraser, like a battery powered one, and I've got, I can't find it now, but I've got some really skinny erasers so I can get tiny fine lines as well. So, and I nearly always use, whatever I'm doing, I've nearly always got a kneaded eraser like this handy as well, because you can get so many lovely effects. And I know it wasn't in the box, but to my mind, using an eraser and these kind of basic things isn't cheating. In the spirit of being inspired by the featured artist, I also looked at you know, her style of working. I love, you know, the stunning images that she creates, but I haven't been able to find any information about how she creates them or anything. So looking really closely at this, I think, if anybody knows better, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is kind of this has incorporated a photographic image or a digital image. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that at all. I think that's great. If you've enhanced it and added to it like she has, that's great. But I just can't find it. So I might be wrong because I can't find anything about it for sure. But I certainly do not have the skill or the wish to learn the skill to create this kind of photographic realism. So that's been drawn from scratch. Hats off to her, but there's no way I'm going to be able to do that. So I'm going to think about using technology in my challenge piece, and let me show you what I've got in mind. Thinking about the whole idea of lighting and creating some nice I love doing portraits, so I really wanted to start with doing a portrait, possibly a self-portrait, not sure, but I wanted to create some really dramatic lighting. And if you think of dramatic lighting, oh, I've got a sneeze coming. One of the dramatic lighting looks that I love is known as Rembrandt lighting. Let me show you what I mean in case you haven't heard of it. Here we are. So if you just Google Rembrandt lighting, you'll get all of these images come up. Here's a good example. Here's another good example. They've actually drawn the triangle here. So basically with Rembrandt lighting, one half of the face is lit really well. It's kind of lit from one side and slightly in front. So one half of the face is lit really well. The other half of the face is only partially lit, and it creates this kind of triangle on the cheekbone there. Let's find another example. There's another good example. So you can see this kind of triangle here. Find another one. There we go. That's another one. She's got that kind of triangle there again. I'm quite keen to draw a face like that. I like the idea of having those really contrasted lights and shadows, and I also want, so that will give me lots of chance to experiment with tonal values, just to see how far I can push the difference in tonal values in these supplies that we've got. So we've got a 6B, and what's the other set? A 6B and a 4B. I kind of wish we maybe had an 8B for a really dark line, but we have got the black charcoal. But I found when I was swatching everything, there's a white charcoal as well. I couldn't get the charcoal to work over the top of the graphite, so I'm gonna have to bear that in mind. But I can kind of layer up, and yeah, so I'm interested to see how far I can push these supplies that we've got. And one of the great things is we've got a lot of differences of thickness here as well, and that creates lots of interest in a piece, doesn't it? So to give myself a photographic reference to work from, I started looking at images on Google, like I just showed you. Then I got my son Tom to have a go on his AI software. So here's a link to the AI software that Tom uses. It's called Stable Diffusion. He said this would be the most useful link to share, but you would kind of really need to know what you're doing to use this. There's also, I'll leave a link to that in the description. There's also this which is called Crayon. This is a free site, so it's Crayon, C-R-A-I-Y-O-N, so it's got AI in the word crayon, which is a clever name. Crayon.com, and you just go on here. You don't have to sign up or register or anything. You just type in what you want. So But this is another idea I've been playing with. This is for another video. So if I wanted to come up with an AI image from scratch, let's say I'll try putting in Rembrandt lighting and see what comes up. And I'll put Rembrandt lighting woman. Let's see. It can take up to 2 minutes. Here we go. Well, that's interesting. Oh dear, some of those are a bit horrific. Sometimes these work really well, other times not so much, but this is just free software. The software that Tom uses just can do so much more. But you just so need to, I couldn't use it. I wouldn't have the technical expertise to use it, whereas with this I've just got to type in something and hope for the best. So really anybody can have a go at this, and as I say, it's all free. You don't even have to they don't even ask you for anything. You don't have to register at all. So it's come up slightly differently again this time. These are quite horrific looking images actually. But I definitely would use them for certain things. So let's have a look at one. Oh dear. But it is still, actually, joking aside, it's still kind of doing the Rembrandt lighting thing actually, although I've not used the word lighting in the search term this time, in the prompt this time rather. But it's all lit on this side. It's kind of as if it's lit from one side and slightly above, so the light catches all of that side of the face and just kind of the top of the cheekbone and things there. So yeah, this isn't a great example. They're not particularly pretty ladies, are they? But sometimes this it just depends. You just have to, it's a bit potluck with this crayon, but it's huge fun to play with. I definitely recommend giving it a go. I'll show you the images that Tom came up with for me. So I asked him to come up with some faces with Rembrandt lighting. This was the first lot that came up, and you can see that it's actually quite like, it's very reminiscent of Rembrandt's self-portrait. Here we go. So this is Rembrandt's self-portrait, and you can see the similarities here. I'll show you that one, this one. Right through from when he's quite young there. Look at that, so much that Rembrandt lighting thing. And again, much older, but still the same lighting, the same kind of pose. So this is what I was after. This is what I wanted to recreate. These are the images that Tom's software came up with for me. Now, bear in mind that these, one of the great things about using these as kind of a reference for a piece of art is that it's not a photo. It's not a photo that anyone's taken. There's no copyright issues or anything. It's not a person. These aren't kind of mashed together from other photos or anything. They're generated by the AI software, artificial intelligence software, from scratch, from what it's learned about the terms that you put in as the prompt, if that kind of makes sense. So yeah, I find that fascinating, and I think I love the idea of incorporating this kind of technology with my kind of hands-on art. I liked those. Then I said, well, see what you can come up with for women's faces, and I like these even better. This one looks like she looks like a real photo. These are more, they kind of look as if AI has created them, I think. There's a few things that aren't quite right about them. I think the irises are just a little bit too big there, and but yeah, they still look kind of Rembrandt, especially this one. And they've got a look about them. This one, I think I'm particularly drawn to this one. I'd like to have a go at doing this one, but I think I will have these in front of me, and just as kind of inspiration, but not necessarily draw any particular one of them. Then we thought, let's see what we can do about a self-portrait, a Rembrandt lighting version of me. We took this particularly unflattering Rembrandt style photo of me, and we put it into Photoshop, and all of this shading here we've added. I say I kind of said what I would like, and Tom had the expertise to make it happen. So we did, because I didn't have the facilities to take a photo in this kind of lighting, but I thought it would be fun to try a self-portrait in this style. So because I just stood straight under a strong overhead light, so it's nicely lit. All of my wrinkles and eye bags. It's gorgeous. Not. And then we just added more shadows. I quite like the idea of doing it, and I probably will change the clothes maybe. Then we printed it out very sort of faintly, just to give me an onto paper, that cartridge paper that I can actually work on, so that I can draw into this and scribble around it. And I think that would be really fun to try. It's quite, you know, it's not all the detail. Oh, hang on, focus. Yeah, it hasn't got all of the detail there, but it will, you know, it gives me a huge starting point. And I just like the idea of combining the sort of printed image with hands-on pastel pencils. I like the idea of using the graphite and the pastel pencils onto this printed image. Okay, but as I say, I don't like working small, so we then printed it bigger. So yeah, I've got a lot to work on here. I think the first one the one I feel really drawn to try first is this, so that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so I'm all set up and ready to go. I'm going to resist the temptation to just outline everything first, because I think I might regret that. What I'm going to do is try and just look at the darkest darks and the lightest lights first. Yeah, if I keep squinting, I can just pick up where the lightest bits are and the darkest bits are. I'm going to try and sort that out first, and then get some of the mid-tones in. And I want to use different kinds of strokes, different kinds of marks, like some of the ones I was showing just now, to get different textures and add layers of tone and texture. So one of the things that I'm going to remember is that where the shade is, you're going to see less. Your mind will see much less detail. It will be quite simple. So although where this is printed up really light, I can see actually more detail than I can in my reference. I'm going to simplify some of that detail, because the way my mind would perceive it in real life, if I was in that much darkness, you just wouldn't see it. I'll see more detail on this side. Is that making sense? Probably not. Okay, I think I'm done with that for now. I've actually left that on recording the whole time, and it's about an hour and 50 minutes, which is not bad. Definitely speeded up from having that kind of underlying photo as a base. Unfortunately, because of the shine of the way the graphite catches the light, it doesn't really it looks much darker. The dark parts look much darker in real life. And of course, you know, you don't see so many of the kind of scribble lines that you can see on the camera there. I'll maybe see if I can scan it. I don't know if that might be a better way of catching a more realistic image of it. And if so, I'll pop that on at the end of this video. Yeah, I really enjoyed this, and I used all of the supplies except for the pastel pencils because they just don't marry very well with the graphite. I'll do something else for these separately. And I did add in I used my cotton bud and kneaded eraser quite a bit, and I got out this this is in a previous Scrawlr box, it's an eraser shaped like a pencil. You can get really fine points, because I just found I just kept wearing this down, it kept getting dirty, and then it wasn't working very well. So yeah, how long is it? I have to get some little special small size erasers to refill it, won't I? Yeah, it's not the most flattering picture of me, but whenever I do pictures of myself, they don't tend to come out very flattering. And this, because of the lighting, was yeah, it was never going to be a beauty shot, that's for sure. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I've actually got quite an interesting face to draw because of all the lines and folds and the glasses and stuff. I really enjoyed this very contrasted lighting. I took a bit of artistic license and caught some light edges on the hair there and there, just to make it a bit more interesting and frame the face a little bit. I thought I'd stop at this bit just so I can share the tape peel, because we all have a good tape peel. See if I can use this tape again in a minute. It's quite expensive, this purple tape. It works so well because it's really low tack, but it is quite expensive, so when I can reuse it, I do. Oh, we love a tape peel. It does look funny. You can see all this kind of scribbling that yeah, where it catches the light there, that you're just not aware of when you're looking at it in real life. Yeah, that was great fun, and a really good way to sort of warm up. Well, it's more than a warm up, it's a couple of hours, but relatively quick for me for a portrait. And a good way to warm up and kind of get the measure of all of these supplies. And now I'm ready to move on to another piece. But that's it for me for now. Thank you very much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you again really soon. Bye.